It is time to start episode of Relic Buds.
What?
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's just been four score in 200 days or something.
Yeah, we are back.
We're back. We're finally back.
So podcasting's back on, everyone.
Be excited.
The thing is, welcome to Relic Blade podcast. And
the Relic Blade, Relicbuds podcast.
Relicbuds podcast. There was a time there where podcasting was out. Boom, out. It was not cool anymore, but it's back. It's back,
yeah,
baby.
It's a very brief period. And not a lot of people agreed with that, but those people that did resembled us.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason we didn't do it. It was totally deliberate.
Yeah, we would have to start another podcast to cover all the other areas of that.
You literally are Tweezer.
I literally
pieces of dust off of that miniature.
They don't know. So everybody, I was saying that.
Do you not have your camera on? I hope they can see.
Oh, they can see it. They definitely can see there. Yeah. So I was telling Sean before we went live that when I see spray painting like terrain outside, invariably some hairs just get up in there. At which paint layer, that's a mystery. But sometimes the fun in excavating with the tweezers, trying to get, because sometimes the hair is the little hair is it's got too much paint on it, so it just breaks away like a little brittle bone.
It must be all the cats. You've got too many cats.
Yes, I do this outside, but at the same time, yeah, it could the clothes that I be, as they say, the cat hair is part of the fit. Because there's definitely
okay, so
into that.
It's 2025.
It is.
Last time we talked was maybe leading up to or just after the Curse Breaker.
It was leading up to. Yep. Yeah. We were.
And if I recall correctly,
so much things happened.
I don't even remember when we ran that Kickstarter.
So let's try and remember.
No, that's crazy. I can just look it up. But
well, yeah,
basically one thing to remember.
I was there in November, right? That's when I was there in November. You came out to
we were shipping
Utah in September for my little show thing, and
I think the Kickstarter was on. Maybe it was even active during Adepticon 23 or no 24. And then delivered. Yeah,
was it? Yeah, no, you gotta check it now because now I'm truly confused. I do know that, and I'll insert some photos and stuff here of the fun.
Yeah, it says
myself, Michael Lugo, over there at this place helping fulfill.
Oh, actually, it doesn't say on the Kickstarter page when it was ran. When it funded. Anyways,
you have to look at the very first update. That'd probably be your best.
Yeah. So it says that it was. Gosh,
it was like September, October.
It's been a while
because we talked last episode.
It says March.
It was
March 5th to 26th, 2024.
Okay, so it was during Adepticon. Straight up. I got goon grime on my hands.
Yeah. So anyways, that worked. I ran into a lot of production problems. I worked through it. I moved house. I think maybe we talked about that.
We did, but we only so last week we got together just as a sort of refresher so you get all the hardware back and gotta get all the things set up and have a conversation and record it and see if it just works. So we did that last week, and we discovered there's a lot of things that happened, including Sean moving house.
That was a big part of like everything I had to coordinate last year. It was like buying a new house and moving and getting my family all set up and fixing the old house and fixing the new house and all of that stuff.
Electrician man had to don that hat.
And and we finished did the Curse Breaker Kickstarter. Curse Breaker delivered. It's probably sitting in your closet right now.
Yeah, or on your shelf, or in a box that you haven't opened yet.
Yeah.
Put on.
It's a good game, but yeah, that was the big project, getting those Relic Blades done, and then for me to catch people up on the last year since our last. It's been over a year since our last podcast.
Yes, I was so many things.
I did
including another Adepticon.
move. Yeah, exactly. I moved my updates away from Relicbuds and stuff, and then was doing Kickstarter updates, and away from the regular newsletters I do for Metal King Studio to do Kickstarter stuff. And then, because it's hard, there are different channels of communication. I'm trying to keep up with social media, trying to keep up with website, trying to keep up with this and that. So Kickstarter was the main thing for a while, where I was communicating with people. But then that delivered, and then I immediately went into production just to have like enough inventory for Adepticon. And Adepticon went really well. We had like awesome events. James and Michael did big like organized play events for Relic Blade and Curse Breaker. Those were incredible.
Yeah, we had so many, just so much lovely tables. I think pretty much almost entirely, there's a few other tables that were from other people, but almost entirely from, I believe it was just James and Mike. And I have a bunch of pictures that
other people contributed terrain too, I think.
Yeah, there was definitely some there, but a grip of these ones I'll be showing up because I got a lot of photos of just walking around from sheer awe of, because I mean, just the Relic Blade event being in a big hall of lots of other events, even though we didn't have a 35-foot banner in the corner talking about our new Mech Warrior game or whatever, people were still just stopping and checking out the event just because of how gorgeous it looked.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then I got sick at Adepticon, or who knows when I got sick, but I was sick. So I just was
I had to dip the last day and just leave Sean like just it felt like a weird, I think it's 28 months later where it opens up the scene with the family, and then homeboy just has to leave that homegirl in the room while he just sprints away in the field. That's how I felt. I was walking. You'll know that. People will know that reference. That's exactly how I felt when I was like leaving you. I was like, damn. Well, I mean, he's sort of like in a different situation. It felt bad though. I was like, damn, he's man down.
Yeah, I barely survived Adepticon. It was
I mean,
just like physically being sick
venue.
Yeah.
Everything different, everything new.
Yeah, it was great, of course, but being sick is not ideal.
Good experience.
And then moving into, now I'm working on finally on my next set of releases for Relic Blade. Yeah, and I hired my sister-in-law to work for me, doing like keeping the inventory organized and shipping orders and stuff. So that's freed up a lot more time for me to actually be able to work on stuff. So hopefully I won't just be like stuck shipping orders nonstop and unable to podcast or make new Relic Blades, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's going back. Summary of me.
Going back last year, I mean, there's some stuff. I mean, gosh, because we really did do a lot of things, especially the summer last year, because you were working on fulfilling, getting all that situated and sorted as you do, and I kicked up the most random idea to make a game called Combat, which like spiraled into this really large idea called the Box Wargame that tons of people got down on and contributed games to, Sean himself included. And thinking about that and how it led to Great Helm, just so many other things have been Like last year was quite a storm. I think the beginning of this year has done such a good job of making it just go blast away. Because yeah, I spent a good, what was it like? It was like pretty much a week. Me and Michael were out there helping you
Oh yeah, trying to ship everything.
ship stuff. Yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time when they're trying to get this the boots on the ground sort of thing where you get stuff done and you start doing crazy problem solving. Because God. And yeah, now fast forwarding to where we are at now. Sean's helped me out with my game Great Helm. If you guys are not familiar with Great Helm, gosh, that's almost worth an episode in itself. But hopefully you've seen, undoubtedly you've seen really cool illustrations of knights by Sean at this point related to that project. Something I'm excited about. As we move forward in the year, we'll have more things to chat about. Because today,
yeah, talk about, because that game kind of, it was last summer.
Yeah,
that you like did like the very first draft of Great Helm, and that was really 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 fun to be able to like set up and play quick. I played a ton of it early on, and then it's funny because you take a really simple core of a game, and then when you have to like present it in a way for a rule book, you just like get into explaining it step by step, and suddenly it's like it's so much to try and organize all of the thoughts.
Yeah, it's crazy, that experience, because one big thing that's happened on my end while you've been fulfilling Kickstarters and continuing to develop new stuff for Relic Blade is I've been laying out my own books and learning how to do that, and I've just done at this point. I mean, Convict Combat was the first. Randomly shout out Doom Sprues did another game called Barbarians, Beer, and Bacteria, which is like this other thing that I'm excited about. I've been making lots of little games, y'all, essentially, and Great Helm is kind of like the pinnacle of all of the techniques that I've been learning on these side things, trying to really bring them together for this project to make something that feels like what you pretty much what you'd be familiar with if you were to open a Relic Blade book. And it's been a real nice and fun experience, and really shown me lots of different aspects of what goes into it. I mean, guys, thinking about, now approaching it, we're going to be talking about all of the lovely updates for Relic Blade and the crazy sort of decisions and where we've led at. But I'm starting to see, I'm getting just like a little tiny taste of what it's like to start asking some of these questions, like, how do I get a book printed? What is the art bleed? I never had to think about that before. What is, like, if I get something printed, like trying to get tokens, trying to print my own tokens in a way so that they're double-sided. Difficult. Things are like,
yeah, I did.
The trial and error has been very real.
I did some drawings and made tokens for my Conquest armies.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing Conquest at my local game store with the local crew. And so I illustrated tokens for my armies, a little easier for me to keep track of my rules that way. And sometimes, you print it double-sided and the collation will be perfect. And then you print it double-sided again and it'll be way off. And it's just like the printers, just so frustrating. Even when you're just like doing a one-off on your own.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I just, like, in a similar way, the joke, I'm sure we've said, it's like, we're not concerned with meaningless detail. Like, that translates to the printing. I'd be over here just being like, damn.
Moving it like a pixel to the left.
damn, that turned out like that. Oh, okay, shit, you know. And then I'll be over
Well,
there in the print office, like feeling kind of dumb because I'm like learning there after I paid, 19 cents. Oh, damn. I should probably not pay more than 19 cents because I already messed this up.
Yeah,
I gotta go back home, you know.
Yeah, I the tokens I did for Cursebreaker ended up being such a nightmare
Oh
because
yeah, I think I have
even
some
though
photos
the
of that too. Sure.
even though the art was all supplied appropriately, the printer just like absolutely messed
Yeah,
up. And like I caught a bunch of it and threw away like half of the
bro,
tokens.
the mountain
But then
make you
discovered
weep
that they were misaligned
on both
on
sides,
like
right? It was
sometimes on
different.
different sides. So like if one side would be perfect, the other side would be off.
Wasn't. Yeah, we were
So they weren't
training
even
ourselves.
it was totally random. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And some of them were like fully like printed like a half inch off.
It was
It
absolutely
was
like
insane.
mind-boggling. I it made me question the whole process. I said, I don't understand. I don't understand how this works. I thought a human
No, I
being
know.
did
And
this.
the company I worked with still hasn't gotten replacements to me. And they made me just jump through endless
Oh
hoops
my
to try and
gosh,
get
yeah,
them
bro.
to
You
offer
want me
any kind of customer service.
trying to get you to destroy
Absolutely.
it and pay them to like ship it out. Yeah, it was
So, anyways, if anyone is wondering, it's Delano Games. And when you get approached by
bad.
them to publish your game, you can tell them that and you can just laugh in their face. Just
Interesting.
absolutely insanely
Yeah,
bad.
go pull out your
Um,
Cursebreaker tokens and take a
yeah,
picture
they
of it.
want your money, but they do not want to work or do any of their end of the contract.
Yeah, so
So bad.
I mean, in a similar sort of line of thought with printing, with manufacturing, with because one thing that's also happened in the time since our last episode is something I don't even last time we were recording the word tariff. I don't even know if that was like a what was that was probably so far down on the Google search, but now that's like probably at least at the time of recording it's probably maybe like 6th or 7th place, but it's like now
Sure.
tariffs, like things are changing so quickly. The material costs are going up all around the board. One thing that you sort of experimented with at Adepticon, which was that kind of tied into the event, was there was in the Cursebreaker event there was an evil Shandolf. So a bunch of Shandolfs got made up in using resin. You were kind of like seeing if people would vibe with that. Then at the time of recording, the pre-order is still open right now, right? Pre-order open for the
For
shirt.
oh, all right. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with what you're talking about. Yes. So I have ABS like resin models for certain kits. I'm making them available, and it really is just a way to navigate all the complications of molds and mold damage and family mold. So there are certain figures that I like, particularly figures that have been out for a while, so the demand isn't super high, that I've been able to print 3D print like really, really nice high end or high quality, high detail versions of the models and make them available. And one of the issues with printing at that quality level for production is just that it's not very fast. It's not a very efficient workflow. But because I've been able to, the models are already out, have been out for a long time. So it's Lady Aurelia, the Bounty Hunter, and the alternative sculpt for the Iguan Marauder are currently available in ABS like resin, and they're like super high detail, super high quality, and represent the art really, really well. Durable, lovely production casts, or not casts, production models. And so yeah, that's true. The first resin figures I did were con exclusives at Adepticon, And then I was really happy with the quality of those, and so I was able to try and restock some of those other figures that I wasn't able to stock otherwise in resin. And so those are available now. They aren't pre-orders. They're you can just order them. The pre-order thing is that I did a new Relic Blade shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there is a new shirt available. Right now you can pre-order it still. I talked to Greg, who is doing my casting, Greg Cherry, not casting,
Yeah,
screen printing.
Shirt casting.
Yeah, the shirt casting. He's going to cast the spell of screen print on high quality fabrics.
High level spell.
Yeah, and so he said he's a couple weeks out before he'll actually print these shirts. So there is a little bit more time to pre-order the shirts. And I also am having bags, like a tote made. So if you don't really wear graphic tees, you can get a tote instead. Take that to game night or whatever.
Yeah, reusable.
But yeah, that's true. So there is a material thing where I've got, all of my models have been metal up to this point, but there's always a compromise as the artist between what is doable for production, how many you can make, like what the quality will be, all of how durable it is. And I really like metal models, of course, obviously, but we
like metal models here.
Mold damage and mold lines that are just unavoidable. And I think cleaning those up isn't necessarily more work than clipping a model out of off sprue and gluing it together in plastic. Like the amount of time you put into cleaning up a metal model is definitely less.
Yes.
But it can be disappointing as the artist to have those compromises of like some mold damage or deformation of the cast. And so being able to do some of these standalone characters in resin has been really cool because the material, I've got one right here, the material is like very durable. I can bend his sword.
Oh damn, that's crazy. I wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, it's durable. Like if you dropped it or threw it across the room, it'd be fine. I have the reason because I've talked to other game companies that do production 3D printing, Death Ray Designs, of course, and Blood and Plunder they do 3D resin.
Blood and Plunder does
like good quality. Yeah, for some of their characters. They've got, of course, multi-part plastic, but for some of their sets, it's 3D prints. And but I've always had like a little bit of a concern because a lot of my 3D printed personal collection is very brittle. Like my Hobgoblin army, I'd be worried that it'd break if I played with it too much. I have to be really careful. But this resin is durable and flexible and has sharp detail, and it's really a lot more like a hard plastic miniature, except extremely high detail.
Yeah, and you don't have to.
So like you also no assembly except for the fact that the Lady Aurelia model, I made an alternate head for it. So there is assembly because you have the option to have her with the helmet or without the helmet.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been very cool. It's very promising, and I think one thing that I would say for people that are like concerned about the move to 3D printed is like I'm uptight about materials, and I'm uptight about quality. Like this is my art being produced and represented, and so this is a very personal hard decision, and the quality of this is an easy choice as far as the results. The hard choice is just that it's more work for me. Like that's the hard decision, is that producing models like this is harder on me, more effort on my end than hiring a caster.
You gotta break them off.
But that said, I don't think I'd be able to fulfill a new
Oh, say
that way
say
very
that one more
easily,
time.
because often I'll sell like I don't think I'd be able to fulfill a new release or a Kickstarter with 3D prints
Gotcha.
because the production
That
speed
pipeline is crazy.
and labor is so high.
Hmm.
So it's really more of a single characters, you know, relatively small single characters can be produced in this high quality, but um, but moving forward, I'm going to have to find a different way. And so I'm in the process of communicating with different companies to try and find what's best for the next Kickstarter. But I'll be sure to let people know about that when I have like confirmation about what I can do and what I can't do. So that's in progress still. But yeah, I'm not moving everything to 3D printed ABS like resin. But if I could, the quality is so nice that I would want that quality for my miniatures for sure. So
Yeah,
working towards something.
like you
I
can
mean, I
see
still
her
obviously
eyeball.
like I've been relying on the nostalgic delight of metal miniatures for a long time,
You see her
and I still
pupil.
love metal miniatures in so many ways. But they've gotten in the past 10 years a lot more expensive, and so there's a give and take for any material, and so if the cost is getting out of hand, then that's something I have to deal with. Oh man. Anyways, that's a little thing I had to say about materials and special edition figures. That's one thing that also I will say about the ABS like prints is I could do alternate poses or special edition figures way easier. And I've had like kind of a negative attitude about that kind of thing as being like a little bit gimmicky. Like I don't really want to leverage FOMO or whatever, so I don't really do limited run stuff if I can avoid it. But because I'm making real tangible objects, in a way, everything has to be limited. Like there is a limit to any physical object. It will go out of
Yeah,
stock.
because I mean,
The mold will get destroyed. Like it just doesn't last forever. But
here's a Relic Blade now. That's probably the biggest one
you
of the biggest
know,
lessons.
being able to, yeah, yeah. So like theoretically, I'd be able to do alternate special edition things. And one of the things that was a breakthrough for me as a collector was that there was like an alternate wizard for my conquest army that was cast in resin and it's just like a special edition thing, and I really liked it. I got a kick out of it. No regrets. I'm happy to spend $30 on a wizard. Like it had no, absolutely delighted to buy it. And then I reflected on that delight and thought, oh, if I were to offer alternate versions of characters, it's only a fun thing. Like people aren't going to be annoyed
Hmm.
necessarily if it's limited. Um, you can never make everyone happy, but I do like the idea of being able to do alternate versions or another thing I did was with the bounty hunter.
Yeah,
There was like this just exceedingly minor quality that like I wasn't happy with how her knee was posed. And so I just like was able to gently repose and redo some of the folds of the fabric. And it's so minor. Uh,
but it's so much
but for me as the
nicer.
artist, it like
You're
represents
like,
my art
yay.
a little bit better to make that. And then, so then I'm able to just, have the models be updated that way. Or same with the alternate big one Marauder. His crossbow just always was a little bit too small for like the chunky Relic Blade aesthetic in my mind. And so I was able to adjust that. I was able to make his helmet a little bit bigger so that just like the proportions are just slightly different, and was able to produce that in a way that I feel like represents the character in my like pure platonic ideal, like in my imagination, what the character is like without the translation of
The
going through the the
Those
mass
sacrifices.
and 1,000 copies. There's little bits of damage and bends and mold. Yeah. Anyways,
That's
it's
good
all
though.
interesting stuff. It's complicated trying to make sure people are getting value and like the material and everything. It's not easy making models, but as an artist, I'm really excited about the opportunity to produce such high-end stuff. Um, yeah.
No, and I think that's as Relic Blade enters its 10 years now. One thing that you've always had is like just that desire to make Relic Blade. I guess, for lack of a better term, resemble a product that is kicking above, it's punching above its weight. Really wanted to give people that impression that it isn't. Oh,
Yeah.
this isn't an indie game that's made by one guy. Like
Yeah.
not the
No, I know the reality of it being just like me in my garage
Mhm.
trying to make it while still producing, like cool packaging and like nice rules and lots of illustrations throughout the book. But yeah, there's always new challenges, of course. Like there are so many cards now.
Yes.
It can be hard to keep it all organized.
Yeah, because I mean,
So hopefully we can find.
in that Cursebreaker Kickstarter, there's I kind of like I almost be forgetting about the 2 Relic Blade factions, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
and then you also, like, one thing that like is kind of like almost a little bonus extra that might get pushed to the wayside easily is like all the extra content that you whipped up, like the PDF ventures.
yeah. That's another thing. Like
Those.
that came up in community conversations recently. Someone was like, "Is there going to be any more catacombs missions?" And it's like, well, that adventure was one thing, but like I did write
Yeah,
more
there's
solo
more.
games, so there with the Severed Hand and Guild Champions PDF release, I decided to not just have the cards, but also include lore information, like lore background about the different characters and about the upgrades and like gameplay insight, and then also scenarios that are head to head and solo.
Like just
So
a
there's like a
smorgasbord.
head to head version, and then a player versus environment version for you to play either solo or co op, and I want to, my plan moving forward is to do that for every single faction.
Yeah, like that's just such a
Yeah.
great format for
Yeah.
acting.
But heck, the game's so big. I can also imagine doing it by alignment, having like a book for a like digital book for each that's more for each faction, the ones that I already have for Guild in Hand that are cheaper and focused on just that one, faction alignment or faction, or doing like Advocate and then have breakdowns of like Justice, Lone Guard, Wilderkin, Lostwood. But I mean, heck, I think maybe just it's probably easier for me to
Isn't that
try and
what's
do it
great
one
about
at a
Relic
time.
Blade?
Yeah.
There's so many cool
Probably easier to
things.
do it one at a time. And then once I have all like 14 finished, then maybe do like a limited edition print
Yeah, because that's making me think of
book.
just like how the old school 3rd edition codexes had the scenario in the back that was like for
Uh-huh.
the. That's kind of like giving me that vibe where it's like almost like
Yeah.
the Relic Blade little
Yeah, they are
character
like little
dossier.
tiny codexes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh snap, I'm learning all these things, and you got the paint the section on the different colors and stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh man, wouldn't that be fun to just have little codexes? Because back in the day, those were like $13. They
bro,
were
for
just
real.
like
Yeah,
magazines. So
I think I still have like the price on some of those ones,
uh,
and especially
it
they
felt
made the.
expensive to me either way. When I was a kid, $15 was like insurmountable cost. But like,
Yeah, it was hard to have the love for the book And I still think that plenty of people are like that. I think that it's when you spend $500 on your army and then you're like,
Yeah.
another 70 for the book. Oh, but then I gotta get the $50 supplement because I played Space Wolves or something.
I mean, that's nowadays. I think back then, like even if I was, I don't know,
Well, I think my
amount
point
of
is
like
that it's
silent
even
reading,
worse now. You know, like you'd be like, oh, just blast
silent
it back.
reading at school, like just like pulling a codex out of my backpack and
Bro,
just
that
like
was me
reading.
looking at those freaking illustrations, bro. Just
I know
being like,
other
holy shit, man.
kids
You know,
reading
like-
novels, and I'm just looking at pictures of.
Dude, like back behind you on that third edition, the third edition second version Chaos Codex. There's like a illustration of a Chaos Raptor that is like captured, like landing on someone like a hawk with their foot talons on that person's shoulder, and that person is just getting annihilated, and that like whole thing is just like baked in my brain because I just remember looking at that and just being like, yo, this is crazy. And then they're trying to talk about English, and I'm like, I can't right now. You don't understand. This is a Chaos Raptor. Like, you know, like
So fun,
I'm in a
so
different
fun.
place. Yeah, we ain't in English right now.
Yeah, that's what I want to do for each of the faction sets. Be
That
fun.
would be really sweet. And I mean,
Just got to go through it one at a time, you know. And
yeah.
and then hopefully now that I'm not just in my garage shipping orders every day, hopefully I can clatter away at my keyboard and
well, you
chip away at that project.
you definitely have been very busy. You did
Yeah,
mention
right
on-
now I'm
you did-
sculpting.
You did mention on your story that ahead of you, ahead of the sculpting is a lot of keyboard clacking.
Yeah. So
Do you want to talk about what you've been working on? What's next for Relic Blade? Because I mean, we've just
well, how long is this episode?
where are
should
we
we-
at right now? We're at 37 minutes. So I mean,
That's heck. I could spend 15-20 minutes talking
yeah, I
about
mean,
what's
yeah,
next.
like, we got it.
Yeah. So I, as you know, I am able to fund the creation of Relic Blade through Kickstarter campaigns.
Thanks to viewers like you.
Yeah, exactly. So, so my hope and intention is to run another Kickstarter campaign this year. It is the end of July, and I can imagine being ready to have the page active in October. But I don't have that date like set in stone yet, but that's my hope. I in preparation for that, I have sculpted the miniatures for it. And I have those getting the sculpts done first so I can try and get them into production so that we can
The
get the
traditional
ball
style.
rolling on the moves, because that will likely take the longest to produce. And I like to have as much done ahead of time as possible.
And one
So
thing real
I'm
quick.
working on sculpting. Yeah.
Because you are working on sculpting, but I just wanted to remind peeps that those that received their first breaker pledge, or those people that came to the Adepticon booth, you received a bookmark, and
Oh, right. Yeah.
the bookmark, the THUNDERGOD. That's what
Yes.
that's what we are. We're ramping up towards.
Yeah, the
mystery.
THUNDERGOD bookmark was delivered with the Kickstarter as a little teaser for my next project, which is the THUNDERGOD campaign. And so, I looking at Relic Blade from like if you'll step back with me, we did in 2020 we did Storms of Corral, which is kind of like the turnover of Relic Blade into a new 2-player set that had 2 warbands, 1 character from each of the main good and evil factions. So we had a party of evil characters representing the 4 main evil factions, and then 4 good characters representing the 4 main good factions, and then a little campaign book and a set of cards and a set of tokens. And that's been like the core Relic Blade starter set for the past 5 years. And it's still really good, of course. But then the next Kickstarter after that was Catacombs of Corral, which is like the sequel storyline from the Storms story. And that introduced the solo co-op game mode for players to play. And that was a really fun set. And then the playing off of my excitement of games design and ideas, the last Kickstarter, the Cursebreaker Kickstarter, was followed suit of all of my Kickstarters. Essentially have been a book and 2 faction sets. If you break it down, yep. That's like essentially what it's been. And so the book in this case was a new rule set that you use Relic Blade models for. So it's a totally new game, and not Relic Blade, but Cursebreaker. And then the 2 factions were figures that you could use in both games. And then with the 2 faction booklets that I wrote, you got 4 more Relic Blade scenarios and 4 more solo scenarios. So 8 scenarios in that, plus anyways.
Lots of goodies.
So looking at what I want to do for THUNDERGOD is 2 factions and a book. Okay, so we're not breaking the mold, and I think it's gonna be a 2-player box set similar to Storms of Corral. If I can find the right source for tokens, hopefully it would have tokens, maybe dice, definitely cards, and definitely a book. And the book at this point I want it to orient toward a classic core Relic Blade gameplay. Mm-hmm. So really where I was able to kind of wander off in the weeds and then into a realm of magic in Cursebreaker. So off in the weeds with Catacombs and then fully off into another realm entirely with Cursebreaker. I want to travel, in this case, to the northern borderlands, which are on the map of Relic Blade from the 1st edition. And it is a border between these mountains and the Fey forests to the south. And so I want to create this like conflict zone of maybe kind of like the lores of magic from Cursebreaker, where there's like the lore of mountains and storms and the lore of nature kind of conflicting along this borderland. And so I want to create, a set of exciting scenarios that are going to be more, not necessarily like competitive, meta competitive, but like, more balanced gameplay focused scenarios, and 2 cool new factions that are going to be themed as the Battle Pigs and the Lone Guard. Yeah. And the idea is to have 1 Paragon style character leading each of those parties. And the Paragon style character, the Paragons are alternate versions of existing character archetypes. And so in this case, we'll have a pig warlord. And what makes him special is the Relic Blade that he has. So he's the THUNDERGOD, which is like a title that he has from the Relic Blade that he has, which is the like Storm King's hammer from in ruins in the Seeker's Handbook. So he's the one that actually got it according to this timeline of Relic Blade, and by picking up that weapon, he became the THUNDERGOD, right? And then the Lone Guard will be led by a grizzled old Lone Guard commander who has found a magic sword, and he's become the Lord of Thorns. So he's a kind of a Lone Guard character that's been on the border and on the edge of the Fey realm for a long time. And so he's not an elf, but he's definitely like strongly influenced by the fact that he has this like Fey relic blade. So yeah, we'll have 3 all new Lone Guard characters, 3 all new Battle Pig characters, and they'll each be led by a leader who is defined by the Relic Blade they have. So it's been really fun to design those guys. The Lone Guard character's got to be like one of the most Relic Bladey characters I've ever made. Just like a grizzled old man with a magic sword.
I'll put up some of the stuff you shared with me and the sketches. Because Lord of Thorns, what a guy.
Yeah, so Lord of Thorns versus the Thunder God, and we'll have a big old clash of powerful pigs and brave men.
In the Cursebreaker book, there is a nice new map. Is that map used for referencing for this event?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could look at that. If you look in the Seeker's Handbook, I've got it here. And then if you go to page 90, here's the northern borderlands above here. So you've got Fey Forest here and the borderlands, and there are ruins, and then like mountains and Cyclopean ruins up there.
Ooh.
Down here, the Lost Wood Watch is a Lone Guard outpost, and then north of them are the northern borderlands, and then there's like these little temples up there. So this is a drawing from, like I think I did this drawing.
Yeah, that's got
before it was called Relic Blade.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gotta be one of the OGs.
This drawing's from like 2014 or 2015, and then here on this map. This map is zoomed out a bit farther, and it represents more of like a broader, a way zoomed out view. Yeah, so there's tons of stuff. Yeah, tons of stuff going on, but the borderlands aren't marked here. But it's this area. Yeah, where you see this crown of mountains before these like glacial lakes, and then the Lostwood. And
that's cool.
So, anyways,
get your books out, y'all.
So that's where this adventure is going to take place. The Storms of Kral were here, the Shattered Lands are here, and so we're moving north up into the Borderlands. Good stuff.
Yeah, it makes me think about what the Shattered Lands would look like from like across, from Riverhold. You just be like, yo, I don't like that. What's going on over there?
Similar to the Storms, right? Like I was working on some fiction that I'll probably never publish because I'm not but about a character that was at the Twilight Seat being able to look across the sea and see the Kral Mountains and getting like flashbacks to the campaign out there and how like the magic messed them up. Pretty fun stuff, but anyways, ripe for adventure, I'll tell you that much.
That's
exciting
for sure.
stuff. I'm really excited to be able to like this 10-year, like we mentioned it before, but I started working on Relic Blade full time in 2015. That's when I stopped taking freelance work and started just focusing on my own IP and projects. And then the first Relic Blade Kickstarter was in the beginning of 2016. So like probably worth well, I don't know when someone would want to start celebrating their 10-year anniversary, but it's sort of right now. Like in June was when I started doing it full time, 2015. And so Relic Blade's always been as a solo production. I mean, it's funny to say that with Malev in the room. Malev's been really instrumental for a long time, but as a small, very, very small team, where I always have to do like the minimum. and work on doing that in stepping stones over years and years, stepping stones. So like the classic example has been like that for like the first 3 years there were no wizards in Relic Blade.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy game without a
I
single
remember
like
us
dedicated
having
wizard, right?
conversations about like, are wizards gonna be in the game? I don't know. Do I just want a guy with this fireball?
Yeah. So
You know?
so you know, I had started with a party of adventurers versus battle pigs, and then I was able to add undead. Like, who wouldn't want undead? And they're very cool skull villains. And then rangers. Oh man, I just love rangers. That low fantasy vibe. And then elves and lizard men, and then dwarves and what was the other one?
We got wild elves.
Oh, Lostwood. It was
Yeah.
wild elves. Yeah. Oh, I love wood elves. Yeah, wood elves and then dwarves and
Now we
then
got
and all of them filtered through this funny like relic blade lens, not just the basic thing. And then needing this and needing that, and then we want solo, and then we want this. And so I feel like with this 10 year, it's kind of like a homecoming of like I get to now that stuff is there. There are elves. There's 3 different flavors of elves and gnomes and dwarves and goblins,
so many characters,
and
so many cards.
troll creatures,
Oh
goopy
yeah.
eyeball monsters,
Oh,
like
yeah,
so much
yeah.
good stuff. So this is kind of like a homecoming of like, all right, we went to this height of the storms of Kra, we went to the deserts, we went to the high magic elves, we have the mercenaries, seafaring mercenaries, we got all this stuff, but let's return to the snow-covered forests in the north.
Let's return to the
Howling
classic.
winds, howling winds, a cloak wrapped tightly around this old grizzled man stomping forward through this ruins underfoot, snow swirling about, thunderclap up in the mountains up overhead, and he draws his magic sword. Boom! Oh man, it's Relic Blade! Holy moly! Low fantasy hardcore. I love it.
No.
Very excited.
And yes, and I think next, because I mean we intend to continue recording some Relic Buds for you. I think next time we should get into maybe the nitty gritties of the characters you've been designing and talk about your ideas for...
Definitely. You can follow along on Instagram, and I shared some. I think I shared the Battle Pig characters on a Kickstarter update, because leading up until I launch the next Kickstarter, the main way I can communicate to Kickstarter people is through the updates on the old campaign.
Yeah.
So if you did back Cursebreaker, you can see a THUNDERGOD preview that I posted last week that has renders. But they aren't like high quality renders. They're just like screenshots of ZBrush. But
they're still very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I've been like working hard to get all of the scaling right and printing prototypes. So I've got like a neat little prototypes ready. Yeah, man, it's been really exciting. Running a business is hard, and I really got into it to be an artist. And so it's nice to be in a phase where I'm actually doing the art right now instead of just like kind of struggling to keep stuff in stock.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we definitely got some very exciting direction. Relic Blade. Way the things are shaping up.
Yeah, so that's it. Now a word from our sponsors. This episode of Relic Buds is brought to you by Metal King Studio. Please support Metal King Studio at relicblade.com so we can keep making toys and keep making art. Pre-order a t-shirt. Order yourself a beautiful resin bounty hunter, or Lady Aurelia without a helmet on, or what else can you do to support me? Grab those the Severed Hand or Lotus Guild PDF.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, because if you don't have that, that's a fun little read.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's surprised. And
that's our ad read.
It's funny because before when I was kind of like setting up and stuff, I was like thinking about that, where I was like, man, what we should do, because I was listening to another podcast and they do an ad thing, and then so I was like, man, we should do our ad segment, but it's just us doing a terrible ad for something. It doesn't even have to be real, you know. It could just be.
Yeah, we need to. We need to, because like you've got Convict Combat available on itch.
Yeah,
right?
I now Convict Combat is fully out. You know, that was that's just kind of like releasing that, and that's kind of like full PDF book available, 70-ish pages for you to dive into, solo play, cooperative play, head-to-head play,
Smash TV,
all sorts of stuff. Yeah, just a
arcade game,
a smorgasbord of different influences when it comes to this bizarre dystopian arcade shooter game. And I mean, this exists a time for us to show off how truly hilarious we are when it comes to our great humor. Maybe you guys will see, because I mean, I got ideas. None of them are great, but when it comes to making a joke product, oh, believe me, then they're great. You do some ad reads from that, and then sprinkle in some real, like, check out my itch. That's where you'll find any of it. Been dropping a lot of things. That's been my little place to kind of publishing things that just no holds barred. I got this thing, I want to make it. All right, it's done. Whatever. See ya. That's kind of been the vibe lately with a lot of creative things. Really hitting the ground running, trying to learn from falling on your face, really, but try not to get hurt too bad when you do it. You know, just be like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I still haven't. There's no finished Sludge rulebook. You know, it's still waiting for the 3rd chapter to get written. And then writing, it's only like a fraction of the work, because you got to illustrate and do photography and playtesting, and then promoting, and then launching, and then printing. But
it's really
like I have like 2 years of work in Sludge. Like every once in a while I'll get an order. It'll be like, oh, you made a sale of these STLs, or you made a sale of this,
like,
oh,
yeah,
this. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I've tried so hard, and it's so hard to launch stuff. Very, very blessed that my first game, Relic Blade, like my very first
his very first
game, has been like, I've been able to have like a 10-year-long career so far, launched on my very first.
Yeah, I will never forget that experience that night. I could tell you where I was when I was playing Relic Blade against myself, and I was like, I can't believe this game is actually good. This is so fun. What is going on? This is like the craziest game right now. It's like, this dude is nuts. He's good at drawing.
Because making stuff is so hard. I can tell you,
really is. Making stuff.
My career so far, it's so hard making stuff. Making bad stuff is.
That's
hard,
what I was about to say. Making stuff, and like, yeah, it's crazy when you really kind of start trying to do it. The sorts of eye-opening experiences you have, because you just never know until you're there, until you're in front of it, and you go, well, that's not. Well, it was even like something like a file size. You're like, why is this file so big? Like, why is this? Wait, what is going on? Like, I'm trying to open this thing on my thing, and then you look at it, and it's like way too big, and I'm like, wait, did I save this wrong? What's going on? You know, the silliest little things that will happen.
Dude, yeah, it was really good with the new miniatures. Doing test prints of them was really helpful. I had to do like, a bunch of different test prints, because I was like, oh, this scale isn't quite right. And then I sent you that screenshot of like, oh, I fixed this model. And you're like, I cannot tell the difference. I'm like, trust me.
Oh yeah.
Trust me. It's meaningful to me.
No, I wanted to see it. I was just like,
what is?
Because I was flipping between them, but it wasn't actually until you sent the second one that was like more up and in the
Yeah,
collar
yeah.
that I was like, oh, the collar, because I was like still looking at the line in her jaw, and I was like, what's it looks so similar. What's going on?
What is happening?
Yeah, and I mean that's another thing that's happened for me on my end is that I have begun 3D printing in earnest. I think I got a 3D printer beginning of December last night. Shout out to my man Skullforge, and it's just like that's totally been such a game changer, especially for doing like for painting something and then doing like test prints. Like it's so weird. Like it's so weird when having a test print that's or printing something and having it fail. That does kind of suck, but sometimes when I'm also like trying to figure out the commission scheme, I'm like, nice. This guy's broken fingers don't mean anything. I'm gonna practice on this guy. You know, and then so I've got now there's this whole extra. I've like developed this new love for this whole new extra type of model, which is, it's like it's like a true study piece. Like I've been in search for this. Like I've been talking about this for people where like the miniature painting doesn't really have that study concept in the same way that traditional artists do. But like the 3D printer has been able to let me do that, where I've been like, oh yeah, I got this practice on this guy, but like, nope, don't like it. Why don't I like this? And I'm like, oh,
just
let me
throw it out.
And be not having to worry about. And then I'll go to, then you go into Pinterest looking up schemes and stuff and be like, is this AI?
Oh, yeah, forget it.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
and then, you're trying a whole different, you're getting sidetracked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But,
well, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining us for Relic Buds episode 16 or whatever. We're back at it. Podcasting is back on.
Looks like it's cool again.
Just like Grimdark was dead, boys. Yeah, Grimdark is dead.
Yeah.
Look at how you're painting.
As I use my villainy ink Goonsgrime.
Booger slime.
My literally scraping it from this thing, trying to get the slimy bits into the brush. Yes. But all right, y'all. Thanks so much. I hope y'all have a good rest of your weekend. We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon with some more Relic Buds action for you. Oh, but much love and peace. And then play the cool outro.